Hey guys, Beast 1210 here. Kind of going on a little kind of bare bones carrying kit. Things I usually have with me. Some of my friends and family have been asking for some extra information about what I carry. Not everybody knows what we know, as you know on the forum. So I'd kind of like to start making some videos and getting that knowledge out there. Kind of inspired by Dave, as you will. We've talked about the SteriPen. Something I carry with me. Purifies water. I always have the backups. Little tiny guys. But see the water purification video on that guy. This is one of the newer adventure medical kits. Space blanket. You guys have been around for a while. You've used the old Mylar sets, and although they are cheap and available just about everywhere, they are noisy if you actually try and sleep with them. Half the time you're not even awake due to the cold, you're awake due to that crinkling noise that they make. The newer ones aren't quite that way. If you remember, you also, actually I've got an Ace bandage in here. Speaking of newer technologies, newer Ace bandages that are out here are kind of a coated ripstop nylon. Same size, obviously it's actually I think smaller than the cloth ones. Of course, 1,001 uses for this thing. Newer space blankets. The other thing is you could almost put your thumb through it before it'll break. It stretches. I have reused this one over and over and over, where if you get the tiniest little tears in the older ones, it'll just, rip in half. There's nothing stopping it. It is such a fragile item that they are basically a one-use emergency item. Nowadays, with this newer technology, and actually the newer ones that I've seen, newer than this one, are they are printed with a lot of that survival info. Simple lean-tos, shelters, first aid, water purification, using them for solar stills. Really neat kind of items is all printed on the back on the non-reflective side, on that orange side. And again, don't know if they did it on purpose, but these guys are using really high quality material on the bags themselves. This is a sil nylon. As you can see, it only takes up about half, so you're able to carry other items in there. Next on the list is also an adventure medical kit. This is their ultralight version, same sil nylon. It's got really sturdy attachment tabs if you need to attach it to something without putting it in your pack. It's not technically waterproof, although it is pretty waterproof on here. The waterproofness comes from the highly durable little, I don't know, ultra mega extreme Ziploc bag that it comes in. Apparently indestructible, Army, NASA, the whole 9 yards. You get the spiel with them. But I have not had any failure with this thing. And the other item, like I was saying, is it also left enough room for me to pack it with a lot of other goodies, and everything still fit in that sack. Along with, behind the whole thing, I have a Brunton Compass. Dave really likes the Brunton ones. I like the high visibility of the screen one. As you can see, the numbers on this guy are just big, bold, beautiful. There's nothing hard to see. It's not one of the fancy ones like Dave uses, but it still has obviously the put red Fred in the shed, and basically kind of an older version of the circle over circle, and navigate just as easy as you can with any other compass. I'm not a big fan of the little guys, just due to their inaccuracy, and half the time I don't trust them. Now, talking about redundancies, we've kind of mentioned this before. Here's the original light that I used to keep in here, and I am going to try and find more of these because I did like the idea. It's called E-Gear, and they're a little LED, just like the old little, clip-on button ones. I never liked the button ones because half the time they were on inside your pack and you didn't know it, or in your pocket or on your keychain, and when you went to use them, they were dead. And LEDs are wonderful, they have a long life, but those little watch batteries usually don't. This guy was a hand crank until it got crushed. Going over some boulders, went down, and this guy happened to take the fall, and the little handle never worked the same since. Could be able to glue it back on here, but it's such a neat product, I would like to find it. I originally got it in the hardware section of Fred Meyer's, but they no longer carry this. So It is essentialgear.com on there. Probably later this evening I'll try and go find some more if there's any locally. What replaced it was this little guy. These have come in handy more times. It's just around the house than anything else. With power outages here during the winter storms, it's kind of an electronic tea candle. You don't worry about fire situation, forgetting to blow the candle out, anything like that. Their older version of this, I'm trying to think of the name here. It's a Brinkman Go LEDs. The older version of these guys had a little tab on the bottom that you pulled out, and it made the battery connect and it turned on. The newer versions twist at the base, and as you can see, it's basically an LED tea candle. They put off more light than a candle would. They'll do about the power of like 8 candles. And easily put them in the bathroom, put them wherever you need light, and don't worry about them. They're disposable. You can't recharge the batteries, but I think I got a pack of 3 of these for $3 or something, and not at the dollar store. I mean, that's just a regular price. They're meant to be disposable. So right now that will replace this little guy inside my pack. Inside the little Ziploc guy here, like I said, of course not everything came in here, and I won't bother going over the typical usual Band-Aid. You've got your gauze, your Band-Aid, your wipes, your ibuprofens, your little suture guys. A couple of the other items that are in here is a small pencil I've cut off. I've also wrapped it. On the bottom you've got a waterproof medical tape. Over here you have a typical cloth tape. I've got some nylon string and some electrician's tape. There's also a straight pin shoved in the top and a sewing needle shoved in the side here. Doesn't take up any more room than a pencil would, and it's a great way to carry all your multiple tapes for whatnot. There is a little piece of foil in here. This is, obviously the same width as a regular roll, but it's a good like 3 feet, and it compacts down to nothing if you fold it carefully. This is something that you can boil water in, you can use it to carry water in. It is a pretty multi-purpose tool as well. It is fairly fragile. You got to be careful with it. I also recommend you practice a couple folds that make nice cups, because doing it on the fly never works. It's also one of those things we've talked about. Obviously, you get weird looks when you're trying to make little origami foil cups.